I've opened up this living room image that has this sofa on it we worked with a while back. I want to show you how we can use the same strategy that we used previously on with that, using a piece of that wall to take that out of that chair. Use that same strategy to cover over this pillow that's on this sofa here. So I want to remove that. I don't actually have to delete it this time. I'm just going to take a chunk of sofa here that exists and cover over that, because I have a pretty good situation, because the sofa, this cushion, the pillow is sitting right on that seam between those two cushions. So I've got a perfectly good seam right over here that I can use. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on that. I'm going to take my pen tool. You notice I rely a lot on my pen tool. And I'm going to go ahead and make a selection here pretty quickly along the edge of this. We're going to use to take down over there and cover that part up. And I'm not too worried about getting a little bit of rug in this while I'm doing it, because it's not going to hurt anything. There's still going to be rug showing down there, and a little bit of that red I don't think is a bad thing. So I'm going to just kind of make a selection here. There's my work path. Let's touch it up just a little bit here on the inside, and we should be about good to go. Okay, so check out my paths palette. There's my work path. I'm going to command click it. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. I'm going to go ahead and float that selection onto a new layer, so you can watch the layers palette as this happens. Command J. So it took a piece of that sofa and floated it straight up. Now it fits here good, but the perspective's off. Notice that line on that cushion really ought to be pointed more towards this seam between the backrests back here. So I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, Distort, and this lets me just cheat just enough to make this work. I'm going to pull this over, kind of going about that direction right there. Let's take a zoom in, look at this, and make sure everything looks pretty good. I'm kind of paying attention to the shadow indentions and the edges, and they all look pretty good. I'm going to double click on it. Okay, now we've got some issues with some cushion hanging out and some problems there. No, we can fix all of that. I'll show you how we're going to do that next. I want to take a real quick look at the channels, though. I've converted this image to CMYK. If you have not done that, you'll need to go to image mode. Make sure yours is on CMYK. We'll take a look at these different channels. Look at the cyan channel. The grays are a little bit different. Same way with magenta's a little bit off. Yellow's pretty close. Let's start with this cyan one. I'm just kind of taking a look at this. Open up my curves menu and see what happens as I slightly darken this. Now, it's really looking pretty close right about there. Let's pop over to the magenta channel, take a look at that. It's quite a bit different on the magenta channel. So let's darken it just enough. Trying to get these values as close as I can. That way I have less work to do later in the finish when I'm finishing this thing off. So there's yellow. It looks like you may think you need a lot of yellow, but a little bit of yellow goes a long way. And here's black. Looks pretty good. So let's see how this value looks. It looks a lot better now. Let's see how close they are now. It might still be a little bit too magenta. Let's take a look at that. Now it looks good. Maybe a little yellow. I'm going to pull just a tad bit of yellow out of this total amount. Being pretty picky about it. That looks pretty good. Okay. Now at this point, we can come back in and fix the seams and stuff like we were doing earlier. So I'll show you how I'm going to kind of cheat my way through that. Let's take a look at layers. Make a copy of that background layer so we don't mess up our original. Let's turn the eyeball off of the original one. I'm going to go up to Layer, Merge Visible. It combines those two things onto one layer. And before I do that, I need to do one thing. I just noticed something. That top edge isn't quite right. Really ought to be more about right there, which means I need to scale this down just a little bit. I'll distort it down just a little bit just to get that top edge sitting there a little better. Okay, that looks better right there. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and do the merge visible. Okay, I'm going to take my healing brush. Now, I might need to do a little bit of rubber stamping on this one. We'll see, but it's the same method. The first thing I'm going to do, if there's any seam visible on this up here, I could take some of that, stamp over it. It looks good. I'll take some of this, cover over this side, kind of stamp over the bottom. Now, when you get down here on the bottom where you've got some pretty serious changes to make, a lot of color to cover, I'm going to take the rubber stamp on that one. And I'm going to stamp a pretty big chunk of color from over here and literally cover it. Okay, so see how this is working? Go back to the healing brush if I run the risk of losing any texture. And now to get this center line, I'm going to stamp some of that center line, take it down. Now this time, actually, I'm going to do this with a hard edge brush. So increase the hardness on it. I'm going to stamp, which I already did, and a lot of it'll make the adjustment immediately. See this? So I option clicked back here to grab some seam. I'm going to move the seam down in place. Stamp it in. See that? And now I can take a little bit of color from, I'm using a hard edge brush because I don't want to lose this edge down here. Stamp a little bit of that. Okay, maybe a little bit up here. Don't like that shadow right down here at the bottom. Be careful with it. A little bit more here. Doesn't matter if a little bit of shadow lands in there. I don't think that's too bad of a thing. If you don't like something, you can rubber stamp it out again. Yeah, I'm getting close. May take just one more little. This time I can take the edge of the sofa from, let's say, here, cover over the edge of the sofa right there. Take a little bit more of this middle piece and we're almost done. Yeah, pretty good job. I didn't say so myself. Let's zoom out and take a look. There's the retouched version. See a little bit of shadow happening down here. I don't like it. Take just a big old chunk and just drop it over there. There we go. Broke up any kind of weird pattern I might have seen visible. So there's the original one. There's the new one. It's just a fun thing to know how to do. I mean, it's a great strategy. Hey, did you hear the motorcycle just go by? I'm not going to re-record this, so I'm sorry. All right, look at that. Before and after. Same strategy as before on the wall, but nobody seeing this would ever know that there was not ever a pillow sitting right there.